Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Brumfield. I am the Career Services Specialist at the Colorado School of Public Health. And today I am talking with Meredith Morrison. Meredith graduated from our school in 2019 with a concentration in maternal and child health. Hi, Meredith.
Hi, Katie. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us. If you wouldn't mind starting off by telling us your current job title and where you
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, so I work at the Empowerment Program, and that is a nonprofit here in Denver, Colorado. And my current job title is the program manager for an HIV prevention grant that is funded by the CDC.
Perfect. And take us back. Tell us a little bit about your career path and what led you to where you are today.
Yeah, so I got my undergrad degree from the University of Arizona in 2017, and I studied, my actual degree was in psychology. And it wasn't until about a year before I graduated that I had a job. And I always had a job, but I had this job in particular, and it was at the VA in Atlanta, and I was doing research there. And I had this colleague who really took interest in me and really wanted to kind of help me navigate what my next steps were. And after sharing my passions with her, she recognized right away, like, wow, what you're saying really aligns with public health. So I said, okay, what is public health? And I immediately started looking that up, and I was like, wow, she's right. Like, this is great. I never really heard of a job in public health. And so whenever I returned to school that summer before I graduated, I decided to make my minor public health to learn more about it. My first public health class was really cool. I got to study abroad human sexuality in Belgium, the Netherlands, and Denmark for a summer. That was really, really cool. And that really sparked my interest in sexual health and made me want to pursue my MPH in something sexual health related. And so I graduated in 2017, and I started my program in August of 2017. And I chose maternal and child health at the Colorado School of Public Health because it closely aligned with some of my sexual health interests, and also even like widened my horizons about what is, this whole like sexual health is so much more complex and diverse than just HIV prevention or STIs. And it's really interesting how that can have so many other effects into maternal and child health. And so I was really interested in that, and that's why I chose the MCH path.
Cool. And what would you say you did while you were a student that really helped you prepare you for your current career?
Yeah, so my best opportunity that I always share with any current students or incoming students is my volunteer opportunity that I had. And it was with HeyDenver, which is through the Colorado Health Network. And I started volunteering with them. It is a LGBTQ plus friendly STI and HIV prevention center. And it's also in Denver. And I began volunteering with them to do HIV testing. And that really taught me so many valuable skills in motivational interviewing, and just overall like sexual health and sexual wellness, how to be client centered, how to be just sex positive. And I learned so many tangible skills that I was able to bring into my career and also use to enhance my education in my MPH program. Which was that's so valuable to me. And that was an opportunity that costed me nothing but just my time. And it was a win for them and a win for me. And because of that relationship, I still work really closely with HeyDenver and support their testing efforts.
That's awesome. Um, could you describe your current role? Maybe what does a typical day look like, or if there's bigger projects you're working on?
Yeah, so my typical day is like not so typical. There's a lot of conversations about risk reduction, a lot of talk about condoms. I talk a lot and I order a bunch of different kind of condoms. It can really look like anything. I mean, pre-pandemic, it was a lot different. But now I do a lot of communications with the CDC, since that's the funding agency for the grant that I manage, and communicate with them about what's happening in Colorado. I also work very closely with the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, CDPHE, and talking with them about what we're doing in our efforts, as well as any kind of increase in incidents that's happening around town. We are sure to be where the people are, and we try to meet the people. So in the pandemic, it's been really interesting. There is a lot of outreach that happens. And when, I'm constantly evaluating our program, what's working, what's not, where are we testing, or where are we doing outreach? Is it working? How can we really be meeting the people where they are and creating the least amount of barriers to get in and get tested and have these conversations with these people who may be engaged in activities that may put them at an elevated risk for HIV and some other STIs. And so that also looks like partnering with syringe access programs, or currently, like I just recently applied for a small grant through CDPHE and was able to get our own syringe drop-off container. And that's, a huge deal in HIV prevention. That's also a piece that often gets overlooked. I also recently partnered with CDPHE as well for expanding our availability to offer STI testing as well. Because we recognize that there are usually co-infection, with HIV, there's usually some other STIs as well. And so that's been really helpful for our participants and for the population that we serve.
Do you meet one-on-one with participants, or do you have group events? How does that work?
Yeah, so I myself, when I was a tester, I would meet one-on-one with participants. Now that my team does most of the testing, so I'm kind of more in the background doing more like programming stuff, looking at our numbers, looking at our demographic of the people that we're testing and how frequently people are getting testing, and trying to best place our program so that we can most effectively, reach out to the most people who need it. And then you also asked another question. What was that again?
Group events?
Oh yeah. So because of COVID, we have actually been able to connect with our community in a really great way. My team has started these events that have happened every other month since November.
Oh, wow.
And we have been able to provide so these events are called Hot Stuff. And so we provide a hot meal and we talk about sex. And it's a really great way to connect with our community, make sure that they're still engaged with our organization, engaged with, risk reduction. And so we provide, like I said, a free meal. We usually partner with another nonprofit called Same Cafe and provide our population, our participants, with a free hot meal. And then we have testing, we have other resources, giveaways, and it really does give our participants an opportunity to have that sense of community and coming together, and just ensuring them that we haven't forgot about them, even though everything has had to go virtual. We're still here for them and available to them.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What would you say so far in this role, the one thing you're most proud of?
Oh, that's a great question. One thing that I am most proud of is just my ability to make partnerships and connections with other organizations. I just recently started the role of program manager in November. And so since then, though, I have really, hit the ground running. I have wanted to collaborate with other organizations to, whenever we do start doing more offsite testing, we've slowly been starting to do that. And we've been collaborating with them. When we didn't have our STI grant, we partnered with another organization, Vivint Health, so that they could provide that piece. And also we've done outreach and offsite testing at the new safe outdoor spaces. And so I think that this new innovation that I'm bringing to this grant that didn't exist in this grant before, I'm really proud about.
That's awesome. And I know you have recently taken on a side job at your organization. Could you please talk about that?
Yeah. So 40 hours a week as program manager just wasn't enough for me. So I took on another opportunity, very temporary, very part-time, with the empowerment program as well. And it is kind of contracted through the Denver Sheriff's Department. And so I'm doing reentry case management. We call it case management light. But it's for people who are being released and to help them ensure that they don't return to jail. So we are assisting them with any kind of resources that we can, whether that includes, housing. Of course, the ultimate goal is permanent housing, but, just immediately, where can we get them to a safe space, and supporting their job search, whatever that looks like for them, supporting them with any other resources that they need immediately after being released.
That's great.
It's really cool, and I actually really love it. I'll be really sad when it ends. I have learned so much about this criminal system, and really I've learned these people are just amazing, and I've learned my capacity to really show up for them. And I think that it really does go hand in hand with my program manager job and with HIV prevention, because I had those skills in motivational interviewing that I was able to bring to them, and just show up and meet them where they are, which I think, these people really need that. That's just that support. I mean, the feedback that I've gotten in the short amount of time that I've been there has just been amazing. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So what courses would you say really helped prepare you for your current job at the
Grant
Colorado?
writing. Totally grant writing.
Okay.
That is it was a pain to take, and it caused a lot of, it was just a lot of work, during school, but, the juice was totally worth the squeeze. And I recommend anybody that's in it, like that's interested in programming, to take that class, because that's, you take this class, you have the support of the professor, and you could jump back, ideas. This is what I'm thinking. Is this right? I had never written a grant before taking that class. And now I manage a grant, and I have to write reports, and I have to, I take those skills that I learned in that class, and I definitely have translated it into my job. And that was so valuable.
Cool. What advice would you have for someone that's interested in pursuing a master's in public health in maternal and child health?
Yeah, I would say to reach out to people in the field that you think that you're interested in, and asking them what's the best part of their job, what's the worst part of their job, because every job is going to have some downsides to it. But to just get out there, and don't feel like you have to find specifically within maternal and child health, there's so many different like sub concentrations within that you see adolescent health, you see actual, maternal health, you see sexual health, and you'll see your classmates kind of group up into their own little sub concentrations. And don't feel like you have to find one and be committed to that right away. Do your research, reach out to people, find jobs that are interesting to you, and, look on the job sites that I'm sure you have provided students with, and see what job titles are interesting to you. Reach out to people who have those job titles, and really ask them, what is your job? What is your day-to-day? I found that really helpful when I was looking for a job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is all for us. And thank you so much for all the hard work you're doing in public health in Colorado. And I can't wait to see your career grow even further.
Thanks, Katie. Appreciate it.